Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Different Panels. Once again, your host, Adam, along with the typical panel. We're actually back again for the second week in a row. This is amazing. With Carol, Steven, and Andrew. Andrew's actually here and not back on a suicide mission again.
Now, I'm confused. Is this the 4th episode or the 5th episode? Because, that last one kind of confused me.
This is the 5th.
This is the 5th because episode 3 is lost in time and space somewhere. Episode 3 is on a suicide mission right now. And we'll see it soon, hopefully. Or it might be dead. But anyway, so, a few things in the news this week, and something that we forgot to talk about last week that I completely forgot and went over my mind, we'll discuss. But let's start off with something small. Once again, we'll start with DC. Not a lot of Marvel news lately, so Marvel has been I think Marvel's pretty much set in what they're doing. We already got we got the new Age of Ultron trailer, nothing really new. There was a few speculations, but we can discuss that if we want to later. But we'll start with DC TV news, as the CW announced two things. That we're getting a Vixen cartoon set to take place in the Arrow and Flash universe, which will be on CW Seed. I guess that's an online service.
Yeah, web series.
And a potential Atom spinoff. So we'll start with the Vixen cartoon. We excited for a Vixen cartoon. It's cool that we're getting a cartoon, I guess, but the question is, how does this affect the live action shows? We'll start with Steven.
Well, as far as I'm aware, because I brought this up originally, I think, as far as I'm aware, it's going to, like you said, it's going to be set in the same universe. They asked for actors and actresses to voice their characters, and they said they seem up for it, so, I mean, it hasn't been confirmed officially, but there's that. And they also, one of the creators said that they were thinking about having Oliver find out that Barry and Felicity kissed in the cartoon. So I assume from that it may not necessarily have big implications for the rest of the universe, but small nods and things that remind you that it is actually set in the same universe will take place.
It's going to be interesting because it's, cartoon to live action. I don't know how it's going to mesh as well, but Carol, your opinions on the Vixen cartoon set in the same universe?
I don't care.
Hiya.
I'm not going to watch it.
Why not?
Why should I watch it? Explain to me what's so important about Vixen that I should watch it about. I haven't
Okay, what's so important about Green Arrow?
It's Oliver Queen.
Okay, before the TV show came out, what was so important about him?
He's white. No, I don't know. The reason I watched it is because you guys kept saying, Carol, you should watch it. I'm like, fine.
Well, the point is, people gave a show with an archer a chance. But
this show is going to be online in a cartoon.
Yeah, it allows them to do something different.
Shut
up. As you can probably tell, I'm a big supporter of this. So, yeah.
You're weird, okay?
I'm weird. I like Vixen, okay? She's like my third favorite female superhero.
Is it just because she's a woman and you could bone her?
I can't really bone pixels. I mean, I tried once, it didn't work.
Let's get Andrew's opinion, please.
I don't watch the shows.
Great.
Well, there you go.
Vixen's an interesting choice, I think. I mean, again, of all people to get her own spin-off to be set in the same universe, they pick somebody like Vixen?
Well, Vixen's a character that's not going to get their own live-action spin-off, unlike...
But it's somebody that the fans want. Of all the giant casts of DC characters, Vixen's the option.
May not be somebody the fans necessarily want, but it allows them to explore different things. And again,
where's Hawkgirl at?
What?
Where's Hawkgirl at? Why can't we get a Hawk?
She's off being a spy for someone. But
it's just I don't know if Vixen's somebody the fans are going to be interested in, and I think people will only end up watching it because it's in the same universe as Flash and Green Arrow.
Yeah, and then if it's good, people will like it on its own merits. If it's not, then
hopefully.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I hope this could possibly branch out and give us other people getting their own cartoons or something. And I guess this pretty much means that the Cartoon Network DC Universe cartoons is pretty much a done, broken deal.
Thank
Because it looks
God.
like CW is going to pretty much take it over from this point on.
You can actually trust CW with DC stuff, might
I just don't know if Vixen is somebody that's necessary or that we need.
Green Arrow.
Yes, but Green Arrow at least is somebody that the fans like.
Really? Did you see anybody clamoring for a Green Arrow TV show? Did you see people?
It happened. People were excited for it.
Sure, and I'm seeing people excited for Vixen. Maybe not as much as they were for Green Arrow, but
UK people are weird.
But let's continue with this. Let's talk about the fact that we're getting an Atom spinoff, possibly. I don't think Atom should get a spinoff. I think he should stay in the universe that he's in and not get his own show.
How sad is it that Brandon Ruth went from playing Superman to playing a TV character of a superhero?
Yeah, but the sadder part is that the TV character is actually doing better for him than when he was Superman.
Exactly, he's doing
Because
well.
he tried to be like Christopher Reeve and it just didn't work.
But anybody else think that an Atom spinoff is necessary? Andrew, we'll start with you.
I don't watch the show.
Why don't you start with him if he just said he doesn't watch the show?
I thought he said he wasn't going to watch the Vixen show.
I don't watch Flash or Arrow. I'm going to get to it eventually, but I haven't started watching
Well, then
it
we'll
yet.
go with Carol.
I haven't gotten that far in your show yet.
But I'm just saying, the question isn't how far in the show do you think an Atom show should happen?
I can't answer that until I see how Brandon Ruth is as him.
Steven.
I don't think an Atom spin-off is necessary at all. I
think it's oversaturation at that point.
Yeah. He's good as, Atom, as Ray Palmer. He's very good. I think he's been one of the bright spots of season 3, but I don't see it as a character that... It's got nothing to do with Brandon Ruth as an actor. I just don't see it as a character that can, shoulder a show on its own. And considering, like you said, oversaturation, we'll have Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Titans, Vixen, Atom, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., frickin' Gotham, Constantine. That's a lot.
Well, Constantine looks like it's on the verge of getting the boot.
Oh, you keep saying that.
I don't know if it's gonna keep up.
Look, they put it in a better time slot than it had for the first half of the season.
Yeah, but I mean, every day from lately, new reports from TV shows stating you're getting a renewal, and Constantine has yet to get that renewal. Yet he hasn't been canceled, but
I wouldn't be surprised if they put Constantine as a show that airs after the Super Bowl to see how many people are going to stick around and watch it.
The character...
That actually doesn't sound that bad.
There is, a fan base for it, which is good. So, I mean, even if it get canceled, who knows? Maybe CW picks him up as a character that appears maybe in the universe. Or not. And we're getting a Justice League Dark movie, so we'll see him again. I hope it survives. But...
How do we get to Constantine?
Huh?
Well, because he brought up Constantine, but so oversaturation right there. With the Vixen cartoon and the Atom spinoff, at least the Vixen is going to be on cartoon. It's going to be on the internet, so you can watch it whether if you want to or not. It might not have big ramifications, but I think Atom is perfect for what he's going to do in this second half of the season, where he's pretty much going to take the spot for Oliver. Spoiler alert! But it's happened already. If you haven't seen it, then you suck. Sorry. That's how it works. It's been like, 3 weeks now? It's well enough. But, we'll stick to DC, because, again, like I said, not a lot of Marvel news. The Batman and Superman movie had a rumored picture release that it was getting split up into two halves. One that would happen in 2015, and the second part would happen in 2016. That went around for a few days until Henry Cavill, Superman, came out and said that, nope, this ain't true. What is our take on it? Do we believe it? Do we not believe it? And do we want it to be true whether or not it's real or not? We'll start with Andrew.
I don't want it to be in two parts, but I can actually see them doing that. But the reason why I don't want it there to be two parts is because if the Justice League movie is going to be two parts, why would Batman vs. Superman also be 2 parts? Because then it would feel like Batman vs. Superman is basically as important as the Avengers of DC. So, I don't know, I don't get the logic of splitting that into 2 movies, especially since it's only the second movie in the cinematic universe. So why would you already have a 2-parter?
You know why?
Though, I with everyone that they're getting for it, I wouldn't be surprised.
You know why they would do that?
Money.
Money. Money, baby. Look at a bunch of movie franchises. You have The Hobbit, and The Hobbit split 1 book into 3 movies. Look how much money that made. Harry Potter split the last book into 2 movies and made a bunch of money. And what? Unless Twilight, unless I'm mistaken, didn't the Hunger Games split 1 book?
Yeah, they're splitting that last one into 2 parts.
Yeah, but all of those are the last books that they can make movies out of. So they're going to string that along so they can make the most money that they can. This is not the last.
No, I'm just saying, it's because of money, Steven.
Although, actually, I think another reason why this could be split into 2 parts is because if we're going to be getting the first trailer for this soon, the movie doesn't come out for another 18 months. So maybe they're trying to release it earlier, and splitting it into 2 parts might do that.
It's done processing. We know that it's in the middle of editing it currently. Okay, say it's not split into 2 halves. Would you want to see it early, or would you still want it to be in 2016?
2016, and get this out of the way so we can get ready for the Justice League movie finally.
Steven, what do you think?
I would say that 2016 seems too far away considering when Man of Steel came out, but then, just off the top of my head, I think there's a lot of movies coming out this year, so...
Does anybody think that maybe they're splitting it into 2 to catch up with Marvel?
I don't think they're splitting into 2.
Maybe, but at the same time, if they split it into 2, they said it would probably come out in November or December of 2015. That would come out around the same time as Star Wars would. So they would probably get obliterated at the box office if that happened.
No, if it comes out in November, they would already be out a few weeks before Star Wars, so they would have that.
They'd at least have a few weeks leverage, but I don't know. I kind of want to see it earlier, but at the same time, 2016 seems about right.
Trying to put all their eggs in one basket? Are they just trying to get everybody say, hey, remember, we're still the thing here. Let's give it to them earlier. I do think it is a long period of time before this movie comes out, and we're only going to get the trailer now, and that's... Alright, so the trailer is supposed to be attached to Jupiter Ascending, which comes out in February.
I don't know. I have a different theory.
Meaning that there is literally a year between the trailer and the movie at that point.
I have a theory when the trailer's going to air.
Go ahead.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, it's set to be attached to the Jupiter Ascending movie because it's a Warner Brothers picture.
Yeah, but I'm saying, why not have the big reveal be during the Super Bowl, which is watched by a lot of
Because
people.
The other reason they're attaching it to the movie is because the movie has had a lot of issues, and they think, oh, well, if we attach this trailer, people would go see the movie. It's a marketing scheme.
Yeah, but...
I just thought of another thing. If they want to get it out earlier, this might be the opportunity because people... because of movies like Guardians of the Galaxy, are starting to kind of get sick of the dark and gritty Nolan-esque superhero movies. So they might want to get this out before people don't want to see a movie like this anymore.
Well, I mean, if they're already not caring for it, if it comes out, I mean, Age of Ultron already looks like it's going to be dark as it is.
Yeah.
No, I mean, over dark, Christopher Nolan Batman Begins type of dark.
So they just take a stand with this movie, not Man of Steel, or...
So, we all want it to still come out in 2016, is what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
See, I'm the only one who wants it to come out in 2015.
I want it to come out in
2015. I think it's way too far.
Explain to me. If they split it into 2 parts, what are you going to have those parts be about?
Split it into 2 parts. I'm just saying, if say this is true and they're splitting it into 2 parts, that means that they're confident enough that they're going to try and get it out. Also, how long is the movie?
I don't think that shows confidence.
Also, if it's being split into 2 parts, how much did they film?
I don't think that shows confidence, Adam.
Why not?
I think that shows that they don't have enough confidence they can fit everything that they need to fit into the setup for the Justice League movie into one movie.
That's not
So, like-
about confidence. That's just about failing your script process.
Well, we know that the Justice League movie is being filmed back to back, both parts. That we know. The question is,
To be fair, it's not
if
like
this movie is being split into half, is that mean that this movie is two movies, or is there more that's being filmed afterwards? There's a lot of confusion in this whole situation. And
think
again,
it's
it could be false. Warner Brothers hasn't really said anything. All we have is Henry Cavill saying it's true, but we've seen actors and
You say, isn't it?
say that something's
It isn't.
fake and turn out to be true.
I think it's a load of bullshit.
Then again, I'm not really too excited for this movie to begin with because Man of Steel kind of blew. So
Yes, but Ben Affleck.
Yeah, but better.
I don't know.
Yeah, Ben Affleck.
I have a different opinion of Man of Steel than everybody does. I didn't find it to be that bad. There's had moments that I fucking was just not know what to say or not know what to say to. Yeah, but I liked Henry Cavill as Superman. I like the casting decisions. Their choices are questionable. I just think people overbash Man of Steel too much.
So, final thoughts. We want it, we don't want it, we happy where it is.
Doesn't matter.
I would rather it be in 2015, but, they made their decision already, so business.
Well, if you want 2015, ask Marvel to move Captain America to a earlier time slot.
Well, they could put it at the start of December.
Not 2015 because of
Why not?
Star Wars.
Yeah, that's December 25th. That's a
either way, though, it's like
But you just
when
said
is
that.
Batman vs Superman coming out? April?
God.
Wait, Steven.
So-
No,
it's
it's
like-
supposed to come out in February or March.
If they go with either of those time slots, like a December or a February, they're only going to have a few weeks leverage before the next huge movie comes out. And honestly, I
biggest
don't get why they
competition
don't
is
put it
what,
in a spot where they can dominate for like a month or so at the box office.
Their big competition is that Civil War comes up, that it's them. Is there anything afterwards? Comic book related in 2016?
X-Men Apocalypse
Apocalypse.
and
and
Deadpool
Deadpool.
and Gambit.
Yeah. But, so,
Isn't
we got that then. But,
isn't it sad that we live in a day and age where
you're spoiled with the comic book.
no, not that. Isn't it sad that we live in a day and age where a movie that has both Batman and Superman as the main characters, it's thought of that it can't beat a Marvel movie.
Well, that's because, Marvel is so,
I
They've
find
already
it sad.
established it. so
we have so much confidence.
I don't. That's not.
But let's move on. We'll talk about X-Men. We'll move into X-Men. Something I forgot to bring up last week that came out during Christmas break was the casting for the new Jean Grey and Cyclops, as we know, and Storm, actually. The actors who played them originally aren't coming back for Apocalypse. We're getting a new, younger variation of all three.
Wait, they aren't or they are?
They aren't going to come back.
Why did they bring them back then?
Just to retcon the whole situation and make everybody feel happy.
Ah,
So,
wait,
not be coming back for Apocalypse.
dumb.
Instead, we have
Don't
a
want
bunch of names.
Well, hold up. Andrew, how's that dumb if Apocalypse is supposed to take place in the Days of Future or the First Class casting? How's that
Why
dumb?
is Hugh Jackman in it?
Because Wolverine sells.
And because of the past thing. Remember? You just watched Days of Future Past.
Yeah, I
He's
did,
the
but-
only one who can go back in time.
Yeah, I don't
Let's
get why they
move
brought
on
up the
with the
character
story.
then if they're not going to use
So-
them ever again.
There's a bunch of people that have been in talks with Fox. The first batch for young Jean Grey have been considered Haley Steinfeld, Ella Fanning, Chloe Grace Moretz, who's known as Hit Girl to a lot of people, Sophie Turner and Saoirse Ronan, who was in what's that movie, Hannah. Those five are in talks to be our Jean Grey.
Geez, when they say young Jean, they really mean young Jean.
What do you say?
Well,
Alexandra
because at this point, they are really young.
Alexandra Shipp and Zendaya Coleman are in talks to be young Storm. And as for young Cyclops, we have Ben Hardy, Charlie Rowe, and Timothy Clement, as well as a dude from the Vampire Diaries, Cat Graham. All of these are in talks. There's been first batches, then there's second batches. So they're like, let's take 3 people, put there in a batch, and then another batch, another batch. So Fox is really trying to get this going. When are we gonna hear about this? I mean, Apocalypse is in a year. There's already a lot of hype for it after Days of Future Past. Do we even want Jean, Cyclops, and Storm to come back as a younger variation, or do we want this new cast to pretty much take the forefront and just have everybody from that point going forward into X-Men 1 just be themselves? Or are they going to give us these young characters because they think we want them back?
I want to see how
all right, Carol.
Professor X goes bald, but that's a different topic.
Carol, we'll start with you.
I mean, they kind of have to, because of the whole story that... What is the whole story of Apocalypse? That they're...
Well, the thing about Apocalypse is that these 3 characters aren't any of the Horsemen, so they don't really play a big part in that, so...
But, I mean, the story, is it that we're going to get the whole big fight, or are we just going to get...
Well, I guess the reason that they're bringing a young variation in is to connect Apocalypse to the X-Men, the first movie, and that this is going to be the last of the original cast, so this is the last Wolverine in this new variation until he does Wolverine 3.
I highly doubt that.
We'll see what happens, but this is supposed to be the first of the new breed pretty much taking over. That's why we're getting these new casting choices. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit too much. We already have a big enough cast as it is. I mean, Cyclops and Jean weren't involved at all in Days of Future Past because they were dead in The Last Stand. And we only got Storm, but we didn't really get her that much. Is it too much for this one movie? With Apocalypse as well, and Gambit, and the possibility of Psylocke, who is one of the other Horsemen, and Rogue, who is also a Horseman at one point, is it too much for this movie? Is Fox stepping into Spider-Man territories with oversaturation in a movie?
Well, I don't think Rogue's going to be in it because she's like 16 in the X-Men series, so they can't make her a young version. So if they're only going to go for the younger versions now but still keep it in continuity, they can't use guys like Iceman, Rogue, or Kitty Pryde because they're like 16, 17 in the actual movies. And it wouldn't make sense for them to be in a movie set in like 1970, being like that same age at the time. But I don't know. I mean, I'd be interested in seeing a young Jean, Cyclops, and Storm. I don't know how big of a role they're going to have, especially with, like, Gambit coming in, and there's still being Wolverine, and Magneto, and Professor X, and Mystique, and I'm interested to see how they can do it, because I have confidence in this franchise again. I don't know how long that's going to be, but I have confidence in the franchise again. So we'll see where we go.
Steven.
Huh?
Opinions on the whole X-Men situation.
I'm going to take a lead from Carol's book and say I don't care.
Alright, and we'll go to Carol then.
I mean, you have to get ready. I personally think this casting is better than... I think these actors are better... Or, how much the movies, I think, are better with First Class and Days of Future Past when it comes to these actors and these characters, because Bill wasn't that big of a fan of the X-Men movies beforehand. Because,
I mean, and also we're supposed to... Quicksilver's coming back as well, so...
Which Quicksilver?
And he's going to have a bigger part because of, how...
Can they bring the Scarlet Witch into the X-Men universe, or is that owned by Marvel?
I don't think they're going to do it.
They can technically bring whoever they want to bring in.
Well, they have to have the right. They have to have the copyrights for it, and I don't think Scarlet Witch is needed in the X-Men universe.
Well, it was
if
kind
they're,
of implied
if they're already not doing where Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are Magneto's kids.
well, they implied it, the Days of Future Past, that Quicksilver is Magneto's kid.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not gonna go with it, there's no need to for it.
No, it's the Avengers who are doing it, Adam.
Yeah,
the
but I don't think it's necessary. I don't think Fox should be like, we need Scarlet Witch just so that we can fight with Marvel. I think they should just be like, you know what, we're good, we're confident with ourselves. We're just gonna have fun and dig it. I don't think they should be like Sony, where they have to fight to be Marvel. I think Fox is in a good place right now where they know what they're doing. I don't think they need Scarlet Witch.
Except for not having merchandise for their movies, but that's beyond the point.
But Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are two sides of the same coin, surely. Can't really have one without the other.
Well, I mean, and then also Scarlet Witch has no point in.
I mean, didn't she technically appear in the
They said that wasn't her.
That was her. And also, she has no purpose in the Apocalypse storyline. So.
Well, if they were going to bring her in, they'd probably bring her in whatever.
Adam, are you really going to still use that logic? Like, oh, it didn't happen in the comic, doesn't make sense.
I don't think they should have to bring in
because
Scarlet Witch.
it's totally like Tony.
Why would they need to bring in Scarlet Witch?
So what does Quicksilver have to do with Apocalypse?
Oh, because he helped get pretty much people like, Quicksilver, we want more Quicksilver, so
why does it matter? Then why does it matter if they had nothing to do with them in the comic?
I don't. Why do we need Scarlet Witch in the X-Men movies?
Why not?
But why? But there's
why not?
What would
because
help?
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are...
But this movie isn't going to be about Quicksilver.
Well, apparently he's going to have a big role in it.
Yeah, I'm not a big role, but I mean, like, he's going to have more screen time than he did in Future.
I don't know.
I don't think Quicksilver should be in it.
They're only putting him back in the movie because of how popular he was in Days of Future Past.
Right.
Alright, what's next on the list?
Are we also happy that we're getting these young talents that are pretty much unknown to be these characters?
Well, I know only about 5 or so of those names, and that could be either good or bad, because I'm going to be completely honest, when First Class came out, I didn't know who any of the main characters were, and now at least, no, I mean the actors, not the characters.
You didn't know who James McAvoy was?
No,
I didn't.
You never seen Wanted?
No, never seen it.
I didn't
know. Now they're all, at least Fassbender and Lawrence are pretty big names, so that's worked out good for them.
I mean, at least for Storm and Cyclops, the people that they got for that are pretty unknown. But the people that they're trying to get for Jean are at least names that people recognize: Ella Fanning, Haley Steinfeld, and Chloe Grace Moretz.
They're trying to get, 17-year-old girls to play Jean Grey.
But
Saying it like that.
But I mean, it's like they're really going for a younger version of the character, is what
they kind of have to.
They do have.
Well, I mean, Jean was Scott and Jean were mid-30s in the X-Men movies. So yeah, you're kind of right.
But this is 20 years old. This is 20 something.
But
and you gotta think.
But wasn't Cyclops already in his early 20s in Origins, or does that?
Yeah, and Origins is retcon, so
no.
Okay,
even if
that.
You can still technically count it. Look at how old Professor X was in Origins. Does he look that old in these movies?
True.
Also, the X-Men is always very confusing when it's time.
Oh yeah.
So who the fuck knows?
I'm
excited. I'm a fan of Cyclops and Jean. Could care less for Storm, but also if they're in it, do they have a big part or are they cameoed?
I think they're minor roles. I don't know how they're gonna work in Jean and Wolverine. Are they still gonna have that
He's
romance?
Gonna be 17.
See, I don't know.
This is going places it shouldn't. Steven, final opinions.
What I'm wondering if you're still gonna have Wolverine, not have memories of that time, so this is still gonna be a new thing for him.
It's X-Men.
What are they?
He technically has memories because Professor X explains it all to him.
Carol, final opinions?
No.
Thanks. And your final.
All right. I'm for it.
Alright. So, okay, so before we get to the 3 fun questions I have, the big topic I wanted to bring up is it's award season, the Oscars, Golden Globes, BAFTAs, and all that stuff. There were a lot of people this year who were making the claim that Winter Soldier should get a nomination for Best Picture. And it's been a debate for a while at this point, since, Marvel really started to break into making movies more than just comic book movies. 2 comic book movies deserve to be in the spotlight for awards, or should they just stay where they are as comic movies and get that MTV award every year? Carol.
Whatever floats your boat, Wiki.
Steve.
It doesn't matter to me. What is it going to help them with?
I think it's not important, but I think it's a part of a bigger discussion, in the sense that people who allocate awards and stuff look down on comic book movies because they're comic book movies, and they don't take them on their own merits. And I don't think that's something you should do. I think that's patronizing. Is that right?
You're on the right path.
Yes. My brain's not in charge because somebody is messaging me wrong. But point is, I think I may not necessarily agree that Winter Soldier should be up for the award, but I don't see why comic book movies should be excluded from that award just because they're comic book movies. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like they're kind of getting snubbed just because they're comic book movies. And people have been saying, and I know a lot of you guys aren't as big a fan of the movie as I am and most people are, but ever since Dark Knight, people have been saying that it's kind of bullshit that movies like this can't get nominated for something.
I mean,
isn't this technically the reason why Best Picture got like 5 more extra nominees now, and they haven't used that to broaden their horizons? It's just been the same kind of movies being nominated. So I think that since there's such a big part of our like subculture now, that they should at least get some consideration. I'm not saying Guardians of the Galaxy get nominated for Best Picture or anything, but at least get a few like nominations at one of the award ceremonies would be.
With the Oscars having 10 possibilities, is it really gonna? I mean, you don't have to give it the award, but is it really gonna hurt to just be like Winter Soldier got nominated? Or
to be fair, animated movies are still being kind of snubbed by the Oscars, and they've been.
Well, they have their own categories.
Years. Yeah, but only 3 have ever been nominated for Best Picture in the history of the Oscars.
But
so
I mean,
gotta
every
consider
year,
that as well.
Every year, comic book movie will get the special effects nomination, but that's it. Like
they won't win them.
Some of the acting in some of these movies is really good. I mean, and they go out of their way to get these huge stars, people that have been nominated. I don't understand. I understand that it's like, well, it's a bunch of rich white men sitting in a room saying, no, comic book movies are the spawn of the devil or some shit like that, but why can't they be on the same level? I can understand a Guardians of the Galaxy not, but Winter Soldier, take away Captain America, is a good espionage spy film. I mean, is it necessary that they can't get that spotlight?
What is it going to change? It's like,
I think because comic movies have become so ingrained in culture nowadays that why can't they be on the same playing field? I mean, every year we get at least 4 or 3 different comic book movies.
I think that if one at least gets nominated, it's going to finally at least take away that stereotype that comic book movies aren't real movies that they've had, unfortunately, since they've started.
And this might sound, controversial, but I think the only reason why Heath Ledger got the win was because of, granted he was great, but because he died.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I mean...
But it was a great performance.
But why couldn't The Dark Knight also be nominated that year? I mean, it's just...
They didn't have...
I don't like it, but it deserved to be its own movie. Why can't comic movies get the same praise? And Carl, you say, what does it change? It changes how everybody then looks at them. Because the Academy will say comic movies are just for teenagers or people who just want to go to the movie to have a good time. Well, if a movie gets nominated, it gives a complete new spectrum to everybody else. They say, oh wow, this could be on the same level as a Godfather or something. That, oh, it got nominated for that Oscar. Granted, it doesn't win it, but you could slap it on and be like, well, we were nominated. That means we have caliber. It showcases that superhero movies can go beyond the superhero movie and actually become a really good, solid movie on its own, whether or not it's Captain America, Iron Man, or Batman. Any counterattack?
No.
Counterattack.
Steven?
I know you're fighting all of a sudden.
I was basically going to say the same thing as you. So, I mean, I just want to put... I was reading a newspaper. They have this magazine where they, go over the entertainment stuff. And now it's a sort of right-wing newspaper, and you have these posh people, or I don't know what you call them over there, reviewing stuff. And they always... If something's dark and gritty, yeah, we'll take that. If it's something light-hearted or actiony or superhero or whatever, no, fuck that. That's for man-children or teenagers who don't know what they're doing. And that's the perception comic book movies still have to some people, despite the fact they've been so popular and they've been so successful. Now, to you and I, it may not make much difference if it gets nominated or not, but to the general, just the whole, not company, industry, there you go, the whole industry, it would mark a change. But yes, these are legitimate movies. People can have fun with movies and then not be shat on just because they're not the genre you like them to be.
It's like, oh, well, if it's not about slavery, then guess what? Can't be nominated.
That's movies in general. There's people who just put the genre and like, fuck that movie, I'm not going to watch this.
I mean, also, look at these comic book movies. It seems like everybody in the industry wants to be involved.
And it's not like they're getting shit on, like, they're getting critically praised for the most part.
Marvel has...
Like, out of the 4 major that came out, 3 of them got, for the most part, really good reviews.
I mean, besides Sony, but that's a different story. Fox has been consistently good lately with Future Past, and even the Wolverine got pretty good reviews, and the First Class was good as well. And Marvel is Marvel. I'm not even going to go touch that one, except for Iron Man 3. And then,
I think it's just about time. I mean,
it's been that stellar, but the Nolan movies, as much as I'm not the biggest fan, do deserve to have praise for being well-directed and well-acted movies.
Well, I mean, to borrow a quote from a great man here, I mean, I think it's about time they climb that proverbial beanstalk and, get to the top. Still a better movie than Jack the Giant Slayer.
But, I just feel like if not just directors, but actors and writers and cinematography, people want to be attached to these because they know not only is it going to get them a pretty good paycheck, but they're going to be entertaining as all hell. And they know that it's not going to be bad. Why can't Chris Evans or Sam Jackson or Robert Redford be nominated for Best Actor or Supporting Role? It just, I don't understand why they can't be taken seriously. And I know it's because, like I said, a bunch of old white men sitting in a room talking about how the slavery movie has to win all because it's about slavery. But...
Well, they don't. We're racist.
But I just feel like it's about time that the comic book movies finally get the praise they deserve, because they've gone from being quirky comic book movies to being legit films. I guess we'll just do the last opinion here. So, we're skipping Carol because you don't care. We'll go to Andrew.
I don't think they need to necessarily win a Best Picture, but I think they at least should deserve to get nominated, at least at one of the major things. I'm not Oscars, yeah, but at least at the Golden Globes or something like that. At least give one of those guys a nomination. I mean, you're not going to win because something like a Birdman or a Gone Girl is still going to win your Best Picture, because that's how the Oscars are. A movie like that will always win. But I think at least a nomination within the next couple of years would be a good thing.
Steven, final thoughts?
Like I said, it may not be important to the average person on the street, but I think there still needs to be some prejudice tackled in Hollywood, and that would be a way to do it. So.
Alright then. So, that's pretty much it for news and the big topics, so we're gonna get into the fun stuff. So, like we did last week, we're gonna do a lightning round.
Oh lord.
I have 3 topics here. So we'll start with the first one. 2 movies, both Marvel and DC, that haven't had a lot of talk lately are the Captain Marvel and Green Lantern movies. So
I mean, they don't come out for like...
I know, but still, everything else, even in humans, like we talked about last week, everything's pretty much getting a little hint about this and that and here and there. So the question is, who do you want as your Green Lantern and your Captain Marvel casting?
I don't think
Start
we can
with Andrew.
I don't think you can say the Green Lantern because they come out for 2020.
I have a
topic of debate
preference
discussion
for Green Lantern, but I already know exactly who I want for Captain Marvel because I think it's an example of perfect casting.
But go right
That's
ahead.
what everyone else is saying. Emily Blunt. Give her that fucking role.
Which Captain Marvel are you talking about again?
The
Not
first Captain Marvel.
Shazam.
Not Shazam.
God damn it, 'cause I thought that's who you were talking about.
Why does everybody get confused? This is why this should be.
Well,
why'd you have to sue?
I'm saying because
It's
Shazam
so-
hasn't been announced yet.
No, I'm talking about Captain Marvel.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because Emily
Marvel,
Blunt's
Marvel.
going to play Shazam.
I
think
well,
that would
hey-
have been a...
Hey, you know.
Just
I
for
think
fighting
that-
Wayne Johnson.
I think that's a good casting. As
I
for
agree
Green
with
Lantern, it's never going to happen, but I think Aaron Paul would be a good choice for that role.
For Green Lantern?
At least for one of
Now,
the
would
superheroes.
you do Hal Jordan or Guy Gardner or Kyle Rayner? I
Well, if
think
they're going to go
Paul
for a
would-
black guy, I think they need to go for like a...
They're going to use the woman.
use a woman.
Yeah.
Maybe Jenna Malone then.
They're gonna do Jon Stewart finally.
I think if they did, I think Aaron Paul would be great as Guy Gardner.
Actually, I'd be on board with that. Oh.
So Steven, we'll go next to you. Your casting choices for the Captain Marvel and Green Lantern.
I guess I'll go with Emily Blunt as well for Captain Marvel. There was another... I can't remember her name now. Have you seen Casino Royale? Because she was in that. And she's in Penny Dreadful.
Oh, Ava Green?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Ava Green would be good for the female Lantern if they did decide to go that way. Because I know that may seem out of left field, but I did read an article like a month or 2 ago where they put out a legit argument that DC might decide to go with the female Green Lantern they just introduced, which would be weird, but there you go. If they went for Guy Gardner, Aaron Paul, but you know.
Now, Carol, your turn.
I don't want to give an opinion since the fact that the movie doesn't come
Okay,
out
cool. So,
for
Carol,
another 5 years.
why are you here again?
I'm just saying, why? Because we can
Just for
say...
your answer for the question.
No, I'm just saying, what if they announce right now, and all of a sudden a year later, Green Lantern star kills and rapes his kid?
What?
This is supposed to be a fun discussion
I'm
topic.
just-
Why? What the hell are you doing? We're just gonna skip over you entirely. It's like you haven't even been here.
Okay, you want to hear one?
Yeah, go ahead. Who would you want?
Recast Ryan Reynolds.
I don't think they can.
Seriously, why can't you? Ryan Reynolds was in...
Fox!
Deadpool.
They got
He
Deadpool.
was already Green Lantern, though.
If I'd like to see Ryan Reynolds back as Green Lantern.
Would anybody? Okay, if I agree with Emily Blunt for Captain Marvel and Aaron Paul as Guy Gardner would be good, but if they're gonna do Jon Stewart, it has to be Idris Elba.
He'd be too old by then.
Yeah.
He's James Bond.
Won't he be like mid-40s by then?
He's gonna be... He's too busy being James Bond, okay? He's already in his 40s, Steven.
Well, fine, he'll be older then.
He'll be like 47 at the time.
So unless they're going to kill him off in that movie, you can't
They're gonna
exactly...
kill him off in the first movie. That's it.
But alright, so we're gonna move on to the next topic. I couldn't really think of anything, so I just thought let's throw this out there. It is nerd based, so we can do it. What cartoon would you want to see developed into a live action movie adaptation? We'll start with Andrew.
Does this have to be a comic book one?
It could be any cartoon that you've ever seen on TV, not comic book.
If you say
Okay, well, I mean, one has been, and I don't like to talk about that, so I'm going to need some time to think.
Good.
I think we know what he's talking about.
I
But I'm
know,
over Steven.
Now I'm not going to try. I'll probably sound like a hipster here, but I don't mean to. You've probably never heard of this, but I'm going to pick Galactic Football.
The fuck is that?
It's this thing, right, where you have these teams playing soccer, football, but they have superpowers. So
it's the Mighty Ducks?
I have no idea what that is. Wait, wasn't that a hockey thing?
Yeah.
No, they have legit superpowers. Like teleportation and freeze rays and shit. And, there's this Galactic Cup where teams from all across the universe come together and they fight. After this big, huge war has taken place about 15 years later. So you could either just have a story about this plucky young team who go on to win, or you could set it before in the war where you could have all these different races with these superpowers fighting it out. That could act as a backstory or something. I think it could be cool, but nobody else knows what I'm talking about, so...
Well, it doesn't sound like you weirdo.
Yeah, I know. Look, if I ever become a director by some stroke of genius, I'm buying the rights to that shit and I'm doing it. So screw you all.
I have mine. Slam City.
Static Shock.
Slams.
Oh, sorry, the Mid-Card Mafia.
Oh, you just need to die.
This show is quickly becoming a joke.
I still need to think of mine, because, half the cartoons I've watched that I really like that would make sense for live action or comic book cartoons.
You know who can beat Jon Stewart? The darkest motherfucker in the world, Wesley Snipes.
He's gonna be 95 by the time.
95.
He'll be wobbling along on his frickin' katana, like, oh. No, he'll probably be in jail again. It's like, shit, I've got to pay my taxes again. Fuck me. But
you know who'll be him?
Who?
Biggie Langston, because by that time he'll probably be another wrestler to fucking lead and become an actor.
Biggie Langston. He's a bit too short.
Shut up. Movie magic.
Yeah, movie magic.
I'm still trying to think of mine, Adam. You can go.
I think our glorious host is currently indisposed, so I shall take over the role for the time being. So, Carol, you said Static Shock. Why would you like to see Static Shock as a live action?
You know the honest reason?
Why?
That's the only one I can think of.
Oh my god.
So, because as a kid I really liked Static Shock the cartoon, and I just feel that, from what I see of Arrow, yeah, it's comedy, but it is a dark show. I think Static Shock would be a new, different thing. It would bring some lighthearted comedy to the TV shows.
So you'd rather see it as a TV show instead of a movie?
Yeah. Well, I can get that answer.
No, I was just posing it to you, that's all.
I'm just saying, I would like to see that as that was like the first real comic book movie or show I ever saw, or anything really entertainment-wise with Static Shock. And I liked it. Fuck you.
I got two.
Andrew, go ahead.
Samurai Jack, because that would be cool. And this is going to sound weird, but it's impossible. Honestly, I could actually see that working as a live-action movie.
The Call?
Yeah, that.
Wait, did you say Samurai Jack?
I said Samurai Jack and Kim Possible.
You know what? Why haven't they done the live action of Kim Possible? Actually? Oh, right, because
I'm looking up the list of these people who play Green Lantern. You want to hear one that I would think, oh, but he's already played a comic book character. I'm like, oh, that doesn't matter anymore. The guy who played Lex Luthor in Smallville.
But he's white.
No, it doesn't have to be Jon Stewart.
Oh, wait, so you're saying Green Lantern, who would he play? Because he ain't no Hal Jordan, he's not a Guy Gardner, he's not going to be Kyle Rayner.
You know who will probably be?
Who?
Chris Pine.
I could actually see that.
James T. Kirk.
You mean, Cinderella's prince?
You know who it is, Steven.
I know who Chris Pine is. I think he would make a good choice. I think he's got the right cockiness.
By the time of the movie, like, would start, he's only 34, so he'd be the good age for it.
Indeed. Alright, we're being informed by our Lord and Saviour, who is currently dying on a cross somewhere, that we
got one more topic.
We do
discuss.
And this one shall be favourite news of 2014 for comics. So, out of everything that happened last year, what was your favourite piece? Let's start with Andrew.
The whole fiasco where, like, in 1 week, we got basically every single movie that's going to be coming out for the next, like, decade. Because it just shows that they're really dedicated and they really want to put out a lot of movies and try to maintain the public interest for as long as they possibly can before people start to, stop the comic book fate. But honestly, that's probably my favorite. Well, because it led to a lot of movies that could either be really good or they could be just okay. Or really bad, but
because of that
was
reveal,
interesting.
There was also a lot of talk that, like you said, people will soon get tired of comic books. Do you think, I mean, I'm sure we discussed this before, but just briefly, do you think that whole big dumping of info will help invigorate comic books, keep it alive, or do you think it's going to get people more weary quicker?
I don't know. I think it could work for both. I think as long as the movies continue to be good, I don't think people are going to have a problem with them. But if they start to, like, decline in quality after a bit, then people might be saying, okay, you might want to at least limit how many you're doing because it's starting to go a bit overboard.
Fair enough.
But in the same way, if they keep using, like, characters that most normal people, like, who off the street don't know, like a Black Panther or a Doctor Strange, it can bring in that Guardians of the Galaxy type of promotion.
Everybody knows Black Panther because he's black.
And what about you, Carol? What was your favourite piece of 2014?
The Sony fiasco.
Oh, Lord.
That
That was just a shit storm, and hopefully, like Andrew Garfield, leads up to Spider-Man probably being in Marvel movies and all that, no longer,
I think the fact that you picked one of the worst moments of 2014 goes a lot to show.
I find that
my character.
Yeah.
I find that even more pathetic because it just shows how impatient Sony is. That after less than a year of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 being out, they're already contemplating rebooting it.
Oh, yeah.
That's just
of course
contemplating. They are going to reboot.
Yeah.
They haven't officially announced it yet.
There's no way this announcement is going to be like, yeah, thank everybody for coming here. We got a grand total of 1,000 people. We just want to say we're not rebooting Spider-Man. Goodbye. And fucking just walk off stage.
Overall, it all reflects badly on Sony. I think that's the bottom line in all of this.
This is a bad year for Sony.
It has been. Mine, I'm going to go with the Sony thing as well. Just because it got Adam so annoyed.
Another topic, because people were asking this a lot. Felicity isn't going to be suiting up for Arrow.
I thought
everybody kept asking, is Felicity going to suit up?
I thought we knew this. Why would she be doing something like that?
You think you knew this?
Yes, fans like to project their feelings onto things, but unfortunately, Felicity will be playing the backup role because that's what suits her. In fact, if you watch the first episode of Season 2, that'll tell you should know that already.
Fuck the last episode of Season 2 with that swerve.
Well, with that swerve, we can talk about that fully when we get to the first episode of our comics TV show podcast, either this week or next week. Look forward to that. Until then, thank you for watching. I have been Stephen, missing Adam, who is being crucified for our sins, Carol, who's caught pneumonia from Jay, and Andrew. So, until then, peace out, and Adam's usually here to say something stupid. Spider web is sticky.